I did start the recording. So guys, welcome. Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody got to enjoy a beautiful weekend. For some of you, a nice long weekend, myself included. So really excited to have MJ Bulmer. For those of you who do not know MJ and I started on the same day together 28 years ago. So not only is she a colleague, but a very close friend of mine. So when I asked her to do an Elevate Your Learning session for the team's tips and tricks, she had been referenced to me, I think, from a session she had done on the TWA, where she's held a leadership role on the TWA for a number of years, and most recently nominated as CRN Women of the Channel for 2023. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And she graciously agreed to come and do a session for us. So I'm going to record it for those of the people that cannot participate today. We've got a number of folks on MJ, ranging from probably started like last week, potentially, and maybe not as familiar with Teams and how we, throughout COVID have transitioned to this tool in our environment. And then those people that have been here probably almost as long as you and I have, that I still don't really know how to use Teams. I'm like, oh, cool. How did you do that? We were on a call the other day and somebody was doing a poll. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. I didn't know we had the ability to do that in the version I have. So I'm kind of excited to learn, where I do a lot of presenting and, big groups and stuff like that. So she's got slides she's going to pop up, but hopefully she'll take us in and do a little interaction inside the tool. Do I have Rob Taylor online? Rob's usually my moderator. Okay, I'll make sure that I moderate on the chat, and hopefully we'll just, if you've got questions, ask questions as we go along the way, and I'll turn it over to MJ.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tammy. I'm always happy to share knowledge. And to be clear, it just comes from curiosity. Curiosity is so important to be productive in just about everything. And you're going to hear me say a couple of things that is meant to stick in your head. But my secret to being productive and knowledgeable in some of these tools is literally, if I see 3 little buttons, I ask myself, what do those buttons do? And I play, and I just play with it and see what all these things do. And that's how I came across all of these things. And so I'm sharing with you today, and this is not meant to be a beginner course. You already know how to chat. You already know how to book a meeting. You already know how to do all that stuff. You do it every day. This is really meant, I'm rapid firing 1 tip at a time each page, right? So, but I'm not going to go too fast. If I go too fast, please let me know. But I'll give you a tip, and then I'll give you another tip, and then I'll give you another tip. And you might have already known that tip, but you might not know the next one. So just bear with us. If you have any questions, or you want me to slow down on something or repeat something, please use the function on the very top of your screen that says raise your hand, and I'll be able to spot that right away, and I'll know that somebody has a question. Okay. Also use the chat box at any time. Actually, now that I say that, I will open up the chat box on the side so I can see it. All right. So there's really going to be 3 different sections to this presentation today. I've broken down the tips into 3 areas where I think is the most useful. Okay, so the first thing is just plain old productivity. How can you use, the maximum efficiency of Teams, right? We don't need to know everything Team does, because it does a lot. But let's get to the, few tips and tricks to make you better. And then we've got groups. You may be familiar with them, with other people, putting you in a group, but let me share you a little bit as to why you should be using this more often. And then finally, meetings, how to make, the most effective meetings, which is where I'm going to teach Tammy how to use polls. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is walk you through productivity, right? So I've kind of done a summary here of what I'm about to walk you through. And at the very end of the session, I've got this one slide that if it's the only slide that you print out, and I've sent this deck already to Tammy, if you just print that last slide, it'll have all the tips and tricks and all the categories kind of all into one sheet. So first one is easy access. How do you easily access teams? How do you prioritize your contacts? How do we save messages that are important that you need to come back to? How do you easily search for a person and communicate without too many steps? What's Loop and why should you use it? And then finally, how to send praise to people. All right, that being said, let's look at productivity. And here's where I'm going to invite you to also follow along in Teams and try these things out. Click on the buttons, right? If you see something differently, please let me know. Sometimes that happens with versions where people will be like, oh, my version says this. Okay. So follow along and I'll invite you to do Alt Tab. If you don't know that trick, Alt Tab is my product, my number one go-to all the time. So when you Alt Tab, it'll toggle between Teams and toggle between me over here on this screen so that you can continuously go between the two. Okay. So what you're going to want to do to start off with is go at the very bottom of your screen where there's that little windows on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. And you'll see the little windows. And when you click on it, this little box pops up, right? And so you can find your Microsoft Teams over here, but I like to keep my stuff right there that I use the most so that when I do shut down, because we got another godforsaken update that I've had to shut down my laptop, then I've got, you know, those that I use all the time up there. And so I want to make sure that Teams is up there because it doesn't automatically show up there. And I usually have to go digging around. So first thing I did was you click on the Microsoft team on the right click, and then you'll see this little menu pop up. And then you click on Pin to Start, and then you'll see over here the Microsoft Teams. Okay. So that's how you do that. You can unpin stuff, you can repin as you wish, but that's a great way to make it easy to find. The next tip is about pinning important contacts, right? So you know already that when you're in Teams, the most recent conversations are always up on the top. But sometimes there's people that you might not have always recent conversations open with them, but yet they are people that if they message you, you want to see that one right away. So if you take a look at mine, and remember those three little dots that I talked to you about, you click on those three little dots and you click on pin, okay? And then you'll get the pinned contacts that are on top. And then after that, you get your recents that show up, right? So then you can see all your recent conversations there. So, you know, Carl is one that I might not get a message from him every day, and I might get 50 other conversations during the day. I don't want him buried at the bottom of my list. I want him up on the top always. Okay. Am I going too fast? Give me a thumbs up if I'm going the right speed, or, you know, put your hand up if I'm going too fast. Sound fair? If you don't know how to do, there we go. Okay.
Are you going to tell us how to do a thumbs up, MJ?
That's just what I was going to say. If you don't know how to do a thumbs up, right? Up in the very top, you should see a button React. Does everybody see React? If you see React, you want to click on it, right? I'm clicking on it now, and you get a thumbs up, a little heart, you get an applause, you get a laughing face, and you get a, oh, wow, right? So that's like an astonishment. So thumbs up comes up, and right over my face, a little thumbs up shows up, and then I can see it up on the screen show up as well. Everybody want to try a thumbs up? All right, there we go. We've got a few. And I got a couple that have a question. So let me see who I've got. Oh, let me take down.
You got Nadia, who's got her hand up. She might have done a hands up instead of a thumbs up.
Okay. And sometimes people say, you know, raise your hand, blah, 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 if you have a question. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, they answered it. I want to take down my hand, right? Or you're voting. So to undo it, just click on the raise hand button again, and then that'll take it back down. There you go. Figured it out. All right. So let's go over to the next one. So save messages that you might want to refer to later. This one is super important. I use this all the time. You know, when you get somebody send you something and you go, oh, I'm going to want to refer to that later. This is an example of a message that was sent to me about mentoring, right? The TWA mentoring. And so I took this and I went, I'm going to people are going to ask me about this link. People are going to ask me about this mentoring page, and I'll never find this message again. So I went ahead and right-clicked on her message, and then I clicked on save this message. So you can pin it, that's one thing, but saving this message means, you might not need to see it all the time, but I just want to know that I've got it somewhere for myself later. Now, how do you go and find it once you've actually once you've actually saved it? So if you go up on the icon where you likely have your photo, now some of you don't have your photo, so I see Esther got EE. So whatever you've got up, whether it's your logo, your face, or your initials, up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see your face. And you're going to see the little green check mark. That means that you're available. Right now, it's going to say red, a little red dot, because you're in a meeting. Mine would have a little line going across, because that means I'm sharing right now. And if you're ever wondering what that little, red dot with a line across, it means if people are sending me messages right now, I'm not going to receive them until my call is done. That saves you the embarrassment of somebody actually messaging you and it popping up while you're sharing your desktop. So Teams knows better and probably had enough complaints of, people sending stuff that they don't want other people to see. So all I got to do is click on my face, and I can see a little ribbon here says saved. When I click on saved, all my saved messages pop up, and then I can find it, and then I can click on it, and it's always there for me. It's my own little filing system.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Again, what does this button do?
No, because I've done that. I'm like, oh, I think they sent that to me. Did they send it in email? Did they send it in Messenger? Okay, now I got to go find it. And I'm like scrolling.
You're
Okay,
going
very
through
cool.
all your receipts, messages, and was
Yeah.
that in a meeting? So
Yeah.
then that's not even in a conversation, and you're trying to find the right meeting, that chat. Exactly. It's such a useful tip. The next one is productivity. So sometimes I'm in a meeting and someone's like, oh, can you ask such and such, blah, 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 blah. Now we do know that there is a white bar on top. Everybody knows that you just got to click up in the white box when you're searching for a person. So I can just go in there, click Tammy Meehan and see Tammy Meehan, click enter, then a chat box opens underneath, and I can send her a message there. However, there's a way to kind of skip a step. So all you've got to do is put the little @ symbol, and then you type in the name of the person, and automatically, and I found this by accident. It was just an accident that I clicked on the @ button, and I thought, that's weird. All the names popped up. I wonder what happens then. And so then I clicked on the name, and then you'll notice that that person's name shows up on the side here, and I can type right in that box my actual message. So it's not on the bottom, it's still up on the top bar. So you can go ahead and try that right now and send a message to somebody and just go send it to each other, send it to me, send it to Tammy, just to test. And then all you do is write the message and click that little arrow over here, and then it automatically sends out. And then it'll pop up underneath in your recent conversation when they respond back to you, right? So it automatically shows up on the bottom. So it kind of skips a step. And at the rate of speed that we work these days, skipping steps that are not important, are crucial. The next thing is loop. So you might have seen this little symbol on the bottom, right? We see the one that says typing. We see the one that says, an exclamation point or attaching. Everybody knows how to use the GIF or the GIF or whatever it is that people want to argue over how to pronounce. But one of them is called a loop. If you don't see loop, right, you can, again, use those 3 little dots, click on it, and then in the search bar, hit loop, and then you should be able to see it. Now, loop allows you to actually have an interactive tool with whoever that you're chatting with, right? So if I've got this in a chat box that I'm talking with one person or several people, let's say you're in a group chat, right? And there's 3 or 4 people, and Tammy's giving you a task to go brainstorm what we're going to have for lunch, right? You're having a party and she's saying, pick something for lunch, and you want to brainstorm that. Well, you would go in the loop and you would pick, bulleted list, or it's a group that's together that you've got to get ready for something and you want to prepare a task list. While the person, they might be in another meeting and you're just having this chat conversation, you can open a task list and it'll start one inside the group, and everybody inside that group can actually add to that one little grid. So in the end, you get one little grid and you're done, right? But everybody can contribute to that. So it actually is like a working, a collaborative little worksheet. Okay.
Okay, so
Super
MJ,
handy.
where is that? I've never seen this. Where is that in Teams? I feel like this is a personal session. Where is that? I just went to my Teams. I can't find that.
Okay, it should be on the bottom. Let me see if I can pull my Teams up.
Do you guys see it? Does anybody else not see it? It's just me.
Tammy, if you look in the chat,
Yeah.
right beside the paperclip, it should be beside the paperclip and beside the emoji.
In
right
my chat.
there.
Click down the bottom.
Okay. Got it. It's in my chat. I was looking at the wrong
Right?
toolbar.
So if
Okay,
I
got
click on loop
Paperclip.
components, right? So
Yes.
actually, I'm going to start a chat with Tammy. So I'm going to do this with my little @ and I hit Tammy. Tammy pops up and I'm going to say, hey. So when I do that, I hit enter
Okay.
and then a conversation has started with Tammy, right?
Okay.
So
I just see Jesse posted something too. Okay, cool.
there. Okay. So now I open it up with Tammy. Tammy is out of office and may not respond. There we go. So I'm going to start a loop, right? And we've got voting tables, we've got task lists, a paragraph if you're trying to write something for an RFP, right? And instead of the whole group sitting there watching one person type, you can work collaboratively on one paragraph that you want to craft for something. Or we can do a discussion topic. So let's say I want to say, Tammy, I want to do something that's syncing with Tammy, and it says what to have for lunch. There we go. So then it says send list to others as well. So if we added other people in the chat, that everybody would have it. And then I'll say that lemon place, which I can't remember the name.
Lemon,
but
zesty lemon.
yeah, there we go. Zesty lemon. Zesty lemon. Greco. Oops. Greco. The copper pot. Now, Tammy, you go ahead and add something. Oops, hang on. There. Once I hit send, it's going to sync.
Loop component.
It's going to sync with you, right?
Okay.
And then you can add and it'll pop up. See, I can see that you're doing something. TM. So MT is her name backwards, right?
Okay. Cool.
And then it pops up on both of us. And then we can sit there and chitty chat about it and then go, okay, well, that one is out. I don't want to go there. You know, Tammy's saying, I don't want Greco. Click on Greco. That'll take it out. And so we'll eliminate and we'll kind of go through there and then we can figure out what we want. So it's a great way to have collaboration with the loop button. Easy peasy? Am I going too fast?
Yeah. No, it's good.
Oh, somebody just wrote in the message too. Wow, I can type in here.
Okay.
All right. I can't type apparently because I couldn't see my screen. I was guessing, but apparently I mistyped. Okay. All right. The next thing is sending praise. And praise, you know what? It's the little things. We all work together. And every now and again, somebody does something, you go, wow, that was pretty cool. Thank you so much for doing that. You don't always say it. Sometimes you want to just give it that little, you know, oomph. What do they say? Pride, not prize, right? It doesn't have to cost any money at all. If you want to send praise, if you don't have the little praise button, it looks like a little medallion on the bottom. If you don't have it, the same thing. Click on those 3 little dots and then go ahead and in the little box here, type in the word praise, and then this button should show up. If you see it, click on it, and then you can send praise to anyone by saying, okay, I want to click on that little ribbon, right? It's like a little prize ribbon. click on the ribbon, and then it'll say, okay, what kind of badge do you want to send them? Because that's what it is. We're back to, you know, the Boy Scouts or the Girl Guides here. So do you want to give on awesome, courage, optimism, inclusiveness, a thank you, someone who did something amazing as an achiever, a problem solver, kind heart? There's a whole bunch of them. The list goes on. And so you pick. So here I did one for awesome. And then it says, who do you want to give it to? You can give it to a whole team or you can give it to a person, right? Whatever you want to do. And here I did one for Diana. I hit send. And then it looks like this. This is what it looks like that they're going to receive, right? Like, hey, somebody just sent you some praise. And then you can see the history as well. It's really handy when it comes time to do, you know, your reviews, your annual reviews or your semi-annual reviews. You can show what all of the praises that you've received over the year and for what, right? So you can actually see all the ones here that I had received, right? Thank you, team player, awesome, leadership. So whatever it is, these little badges are some. And what you learn is when you give them out, you get them back, right? And so it's important. It's the little things because we all work together. We are Team Xerox after all. All right. So I think I saw something in the chat. So let me go see at the chat.
I just did one to test it. And
there you go.
Jesse just did one.
Thank you, MJ. There you go. Excellent.
I don't know. I've never seen that being used, MJ, on any of our like all employee calls where we have a lot of, you know, kudos and little pictures and stuff like that. So I think that's a really cool, little cool addition that we'll probably see in our next meeting.
Excellent. It's a great little thing, right? And you know what? It brightens someone's day. I start off in the morning usually with, you know, my focus times, and that's a whole other session that I can talk to you guys about. I did a session for Xerox Canada. I don't know if you guys were on the call, but it was on Viva Insights, and there's lots of stuff in there. And I do have a booked time in my schedule for Viva Insights that's focus time. And in that focus time, I get ready for all my meetings. I see what's coming up. I take a look at a lot of things. And one of the things that I'll do is take the time to send praise where praise is due. Okay, next section is groups. What are they and why do you care? So I'm going to walk you through how to create a group because you might have been participating in one, but didn't know that you had the ability to actually do it. No special skills are required. How to add tabs to like share files, to create tasks within a group, how to add a group calendar and why would you, and even, you know, use email, all integrated because Microsoft Teams is Microsoft, right? And so it integrates with tasks, it integrates with your email, and integrates with your calendar. That's the beauty of it. So let it do it for you so that you don't have to use multiple tools. How do you organize your groups when you start having a lot of them? And how do you prioritize the group's documents? So I'll walk you through those couple of things now. We're doing okay for time. I'm right on schedule. It was 20 minutes for each section, so we'll continue on. So what is all the fuss about groups? Have you been in a group? Have you already seen them? Give me a thumbs up if you know about these, and then I can at least skim about what it is. Okay, great. All right, so the whole idea between teams within teams is a subgroup. It's like having a little war room or a little collab room set up for your team with its own filing cabinet, its own white wall, its own calendar, and it's just for you guys, right? And your stuff is always there and you can access it at any time. So it's like having that space for yourself, right? And I see it as my little office for each one of the sub teams that I support, right? And so if I take a look at, you know, I have a lot of them and I needed to organize the different type of marketing activities that I was doing because at one point I felt totally overwhelmed by, I was doing marketing all the time for so many different people. If somebody asked me, well, what did you do this month? I couldn't actually straight away off the top of my head. It's like, well, I did a little bit for this one, a little bit for this one, and then I couldn't remember all of the tasks, how I spent my time, right? And so I started to divvy them all out so I can organize my thoughts, organize my tasks to make sure that all of the groups were being well catered to, right? So I wanted to create a different group for all the different pieces, and I kind of gave them all a code, right? So this was Channel Xerox Canada at the time, because this was an older version, this presentation I had done last year. And so for all of the subgroups that I had, I gave them their own group. And then all the appropriate people were involved in each one of those sections. And then they could all see what I was working on at all times. That way they didn't have to come to me with emails all the time saying, where are you with this? Where are you with that? They could just go look in the Teams meeting and see all of my tasks were all laid out, and they can see where it was at, where the final product was, what did the collateral look like that I built, all of the different, things that I had been doing. They could see it for themselves. And if they saw that it wasn't done yet, they could see, what was left missing. Okay. There's a lot of different things that you can do in there. You can post conversations, talk to people that way, and you can do all of the tasks within that section. You can take a look at your files, and you can have shared files in there so that everybody can take a look at the files and everybody can actually work on the files. These were pricing sheets that I used to work on, and we used to email them to each other, right? And so I would have to work on one section, distribution had to work on another section, the controller worked on another section. And so we had this one sheet, and we would be like version 24 before we would get to our last sheet. And I was constantly, taking the sheet that they gave me and then pasting it into mine and it was driving me nuts, and it wasn't very productive. When I started using this pricing sheet, you can see I started a new one every month, right? And so when I started a new one, then everybody knew to go and do their changes in that one sheet. We didn't have to email these anymore, right? Everybody had access to that. You could see who the last person was that modified it, and you could see who was working on it and when they worked on it and when they updated it. So you knew, oh, did such and such update the sheet yet? No? Okay, it's still my version. So that's a great way, and my favorite thing about the handy thing with groups. Also, tasks. So tasks is a section where you can actually see all of the tasks. These are all of the tasks that were completed on time. These are the ones that are outstanding. And then these are the ones that aren't due yet in each one of the sections that I was working on at the time, right? You can take a look at several different views, and I'm going to walk you through that. This is the schedule, so it can actually show what I worked on last month. So if I'm talking to my boss and having a one-on-one, and they're like, okay, what are you working on? What are your projects that you're working on? Well, this is what I've been working on. I did, this collateral that day. The next day I did this one. The next day I did this one. The next day I did this one. So these were all of the things that I've been working on. You can click on the 2 or more, and it shows you a list of 2 or 3. This one here had 3, couldn't fit it all in. So if I click on 3, it'll show the 3 tasks in there, right? So it shows you, now these are all in green because they were completed, right? If I'm in the middle of the month, you would see some red, you would see some black. Black means it's not due yet. Red means it's overdue. So it's a great way to prioritize. So I know if I'm on vacation in the next week, I can look at my task calendar and go, what are all the things that are due next week that I need to do now before I go away so that those don't go into the red, right? So how do you create them? Well, you start by going on the team section, and then you can see down at the bottom of the column, there's a join or create team. You click on that one, and then you click create team. After you click that, it gives you options. Do you want to create it from scratch, or do you want to manage a project, manage an event, Do you want to onboard employees? That's, something more for Tammy. And there's a whole bunch of different things that you can actually have there. The most often ones that I use is the from scratch, manage a project, manage an event. That's because that's pretty much what I do for a living. But manage a project and from scratch are the two that you would probably find the most useful. From scratch means I'm going to give you a couple of tabs. I'll give you the task, and I'll give you the task, and I'll give you the schedule. But after that, it's up to you what you want to add. That's probably the easiest, so you don't get stuff that too much in there. And then it'll ask you, is this a private group or is this a public group, right? If it's a private group that just a subcommittee needs to be working on something, select private, and then you'll be able to send people an invitation. A little box will pop up and says, tell me a little bit about what your private team is about. So here was the one that I created, TWA conference attendees. I am the co-chair for the TWA conference this year. So I created this group. So that's why I took a snapshot while I was doing it, because I knew I'd need it for one of these presentations someday. So I go ahead and I type the name of the group, and then I hit create. And then the next box that pops up is, do you want to add members? I never add them right away, because if you add them right away, they'll get notifications of everything you're doing while you're setting it up. So, you want to build it first and then invite the people once it's done. And I'll show you how you can do that easily as well. I can see there's a hands up. I'm not sure if that's because it's a question or because it is still up there from the last time.
I know Tina had a question.
Does anyone know why I see
Yeah.
notifications from some groups, but not from others? Do I have notifications turned on? That's something that sometimes they'll turn off notifications if it's not, if you don't need to be notified on everything, but you can turn them on or turn them off at any time. I'll show you that.
Does each group have to be turned on or is it I have notifications turned on for Teams?
The default is always on. You can shut them off, but the default is always on.
MJ, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you introduced this section, there was a screenshot of what your teams looks like, and it looked like it had like 3 quadrants that showed 3 different teams that you're involved in. How do you get that view? Because mine doesn't seem to have, like, I always have to go to the left-hand side to see all the teams.
I will show you.
Perfect.
I will absolutely show you. And that's pinning. So we'll go through that in a quick second.
Great.
So how to create your tabs, right? So you're going to notice up on the top, you've got general post file. So to give you, I'll go back a couple of screens here to show you what I'm talking about. Right here, right? General post files, wiki tasks, little plus there, right? Not to make you nauseous here, but I'm going to go back to where I am. There. So you want to go ahead. If I did it from scratch, which I did here to show you guys, general post files is all that you get as a whole, right? Posts, I just showed you what that looks like. It means you can communicate to everyone, kind of like a message board. Think about it as this page. It's not showing up yet. I'll show you in a second. Which is basically like a message board, a bulletin board, files, which I showed you a second ago, and then the plus. And then you can add tabs. These are the ones that I use the most often. You can play with anything, and you should, right? And I'll show you how to leave a group. If you're a past participant, I will show you how to do that too, Jesse. These are the ones I use the most often. The tasks, crucial, so important, right? The whiteboard is something that you might find relevant. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Channel calendar. So you can create a calendar for your team, and a SharePoint site. This can create a SharePoint site. Remember, it's a Microsoft SharePoint, right? So if you never knew how to create a SharePoint site, you don't need to know. If you're doing it through a Teams group, your teams will have a SharePoint created, and at any time you can actually go view it in SharePoint, right? When you create it through this, they all talk to each other. That's productivity at its best. Okay, there's Visio. There's a whole bunch of other things. Forms is in there as well. And Wiki is one that people use very often. You can kind of use Wiki as a way to type a whole bunch of information, like, you know, where to go get stuff. It's kind of like an FAQ, right? So how do you organize your groups? You guys asked me this a second ago. I had these separate categories that exist, right? So remember those three little dots. Those are your magic 3 dots all the time. What does this button do, right? So 3 little dots, you click on that at any time, and then you'll see either hide or unhide. So Jesse, that answers one of your questions if you're trying to just clean it up. Sometimes you don't want to get rid of it, but it's not really relevant to you, so you keep it hidden. Another thing is you can leave the team, right? So that team, it's no longer relevant. You can add a member to a team. So if somebody just joined and you want to add someone to a certain team, you can do that there, or add a channel. I owned this team here, right? I created it, so I get the manage team button. That's whoever created it. That gets that. So you can click on that at any time. You can take people out. You can add people in as you see fit. Okay. So that's all you've got to do on that, is be able to pin them as well. Okay. So you can right click and pin on some of your teams. There we go. So that's my pin teams. You can actually click and move them around too. I do that a lot. So here you can see all my CXs were all together. If you take a look at my teams now, it looks different, because as your job changes, so do some of these requirements. So let me go over to the teams page and I'll show you. All right. So I've got in here now, I've unpinned the other ones because I no longer have that job that those need to be pinned. And so this is where it is. I click those 3 little buttons and you can see unpin at any time, or I click on down here, right? And say, I want to pin this one. So just click out of there. The TWA the 2023 TWA conference is one that I would want to, why can't I find the pin button? Just because I am trying to do it. All right, so click on it and hold the button down and drag it. And that should be able to move it up there. Why isn't it working? Why can I not pin it? Oh, that always happens when you try to get something done. I don't know why it's not coming up. That's odd. Well, I'm keeping that one pinned. All right, I'll take a look. Maybe it's up down here.
I just tried one. If you click on the 3 dots on the other side, like when you have it open, over to the right.
Got it. Over here?
Yeah. No?
Nope, not seeing it.
Oh, no, your view looks different than mine.
All right, versioning issue here, but that's okay. Fun times. This is what happens when they keep updates all the time. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. All right. Okay, so you can move these around so that if I see one that I want to have, like I just got added in one at one point, right? This one here. And it's one that I've been using quite a bit lately on our new We Make Work Work campaign. And I keep wanting to move it up, right? So I keep sliding it up. And I want it up higher. There we go. So now it's up where I need it, right? That makes it more important. If I want to hide certain of them, I click on them and I can hide them at any time, right? If I take a look at some of these things that I don't need, right? So there, I want to hide this one and it hides it. Some of them you can see they've got a little 4. So that means Young Professionals has 4 messages that I haven't read yet. All right, so now let me go over back to my presentation and show you sometimes when you're inside of a team, right? And let's say that I was talking to you guys earlier about this, the pricing worksheet that we were working together. I always wanted to pin on top so I didn't have to go digging because they're all done alphabetical. So alphabetical means that it could be anywhere on the list and I didn't want people to go looking. And so you can go and click on 3 little dots when you have a document and click on pin to top, right? So when you pin to top, it'll actually bring it up to the top and it's there for everybody to have easy access. Super handy button to have when you're doing it. The great thing about this is if you click on this, right, it'll actually open it in Teams and then I can't see my Teams. I don't like that. I always open these documents. I click on the document and then I click on this little button that says open and it says open in desktop app and it'll open in Excel. So I have it open in Excel and every updates I do there automatically saves in my Teams. Okay, so it's always up to date. They all work together. Any questions about group besides the fact that I couldn't show you how to pin? When you right click and choose.
When you say open on desktop, you said Excel, but I'm assuming that's the same for PowerPoint because I've noticed when I've tried to open up
Absolutely.
PowerPoint, it looks and feels different and then I get confused. And
you can't work on documents either. It's super frustrating. So
yeah,
let me show you that. Actually, I'll take a second to do that. So if I go ahead and want to open, let's say I want to open a document in here.
that's where I get multiple versions because I'll save it to my desktop and work on it there. And then I don't upload it to this.
Just because I'm looking for something to open, I'm not going to find anything. I'm like filtering. What can I open? Okay, so files. I'll do it here. It can be in a chat too, right? So if I'm doing it in here and somebody chatted me something, that's one way, right? But I can click on this and it opens here, and I hate that, right? I don't want to
Yeah.
open it here.
Right.
So what I do is I go under editing and say open in Excel. And then it opens it in Excel and it takes it out of Teams. So I can
Okay.
stop because PowerPoint does not do most of the functionality. You can't cut and paste in it.
Right,
You can't
right.
update things correctly. That's
Okay, so
probably
whatever the
one of-
application is, you can do the update in Excel, update in PowerPoint, whatever file type it is, by
Correct.
editing in that button.
Correct.
Perfect.
Correct. Okay. All right.
Tyrone,
So-
did you answer his question? Can you right click and choose pin on your team?
I think instead of choosing the dots, MJ, if you right click, hover over the team you want to pin and just simply right click, you get a pin option and it'll move it up as opposed to using the ellipsis.
Ah, is it there? No. I so wanted you to be right.
Oh, I feel like I just tried one and it worked. That's strange.
Really?
Yeah, I hovered over even on this call if you choose.
Oh, I found it. The 3 little dots, as always. Do you see it over here? So you're right. You have to open it, right? And it's the 3 little dots in here. And then I can hit pin. And so once it's pinned, it automatically went up in my pins. Perfect. Thank you for solving my problem today.
Mm-hmm. We've got 2 hands up, one from Holly Fowler and one from Ganyang Wang.
Okay.
Ganyang, do you want to ask your question?
No, sorry, it's an error. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's an error. He was just waving to us. Same mistake with Holly. All's
Sorry.
good. Okay.
All right. So just click on the raise again, and then it comes down again. Click on your hand again, and it'll take it down.
Perfect.
Okay, meetings. So really important stuff about when you're setting up a meeting. That's so important. Avoid the lobby, especially if you have customers, right? You don't want them to sit in the lobby necessarily. Sometimes you do. Sometimes it's important. You want to prep first. Sometimes you don't, right? And you also want to remove that popcorn sound of everybody beeping in. So I'll show you how to do that.
So all external emails, MJ, will come in as a guest into the lobby. Unless they're a Xerox person, you have to admit them, correct?
No.
Okay.
That's the default.
Okay.
But I do a lot of agent calls with agent reps.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them to go in the lobby because I have, 322 people waiting in the lobby.
Yes,
and then I'm trying to present, and all the people that are coming in late, I just keep getting ping, someone's waiting for you in the lobby, and I'm busy presenting. I don't have time to go and check that. I'm going to show you how to take that down. You have to do it for every meeting, every time, right? It is the default. I'm going to show you how you can have the slides translated, even though the slides aren't translated, no matter what the language of the person who is viewing, right? And I'm going to go quick because I want to get through those 2 things. How to highlight a speaker, views and videos, polls, that's what Tammy wants to hear, and how do you save recordings. Okay. First things first, avoid the lobby, remove the popcorn. When you have a meeting, right, and you're booking a meeting, so here's one of my meetings I was booking, there's a little meeting options, right? Before you hit send, click on meeting options, and it says who can bypass the lobby. By default, it says people in my organization, but I click on always let callers bypass the lobby, and I unclick announce when callers join or leave, because I don't want them to go ping, ping, ping every time, right? I'm going to see it in the transcription of the meetings. I don't need to see it. I don't need to hear it, right? In the meeting options, it says, okay, well, who can bypass the lobby? You said always let callers bypass the lobby. It's going to ask me, like, I'm going to say everyone. You can be specific if you need to, right? People in my organization, people, organization guests, people I invite, only me, or you can say everyone. I do everyone on my calls. It depends on who your audience is. Now let me talk to you about instant translation. Instant translation is a little bit different. So I'm sharing right now my desktop with you, right? But if I were to take that down and unshare, bear with me for a second. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to show you a different way of sharing. I can share, click on share, and instead of hitting screen, I'm going to go down lower, scroll lower. There's a section called PowerPoint Live. Okay, so when I get to PowerPoint Live, I go and find whatever I'm looking to share. In this case, it's my Teams tips. Okay, so Teams tips, I bring it up. It's preparing my slide. Now you guys are seeing this again, correct?
Yeah, but it's really little.
It does shrink it. That's the downside of this, right? And I'm moving through the slides here because I want to get to the slide. Let me see if I can do a grid view real quick and get to my slide that I'm at. There. Okay. All right. So one of the first things that I did, right, is I did private view It allows participants not to move through my slides because I don't want you to go scrolling beyond where I'm at. So I click the little private view button. But what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take a look in a different language. Maybe you want to see them in French, right? So I've gone ahead and done this, Teams tips here for you. What you want to do is click on those good old 3 buttons, your new best friends, right? Click on the 3 buttons, hit on translate slides. I can't do it because every viewer is different. You might want to see it in Spanish. You might want to see it in Chinese. You might want to see it in Portuguese, right? Translate slide, find your language, and go. Here I did français, right? And then if I take a look at my screen, everything changes in the view. Go to my next slide. And the slide here shows you, I had done it on my screen, and it showed everything to me in French, and the translation is quite good. It's not going to be perfect, but it's quite good, enough for you to get the gist of it if you're looking. So if you're presenting and all you have is an English deck and you're doing something for a customer and they're in French and they want it in French and you don't have the document in French, this is a great way to be able to share with them and just tell them, go ahead and click on the 3 little buttons, hit translate, and go ahead and select your language of choice.
Okay, MJ, so I'm doing that as we go through this. So I just hit the 3 buttons at the very top where it says more. And then I've got
not on the top, on the bottom. Like you see the screen.
On the bottom. Got it. Translate slides. There's so many little 3 dots. Got it.
I know. I just more for you to play with.
Magnify the slide only for me. Look at that little thing.
New buttons.
Okay.
Now in there, I've got all sorts of things. I've got, a highlighter, I've got markers, I've got a pointer so I can point and go, hey, you see how this is all in French, right? See how this is in French? I've got little tools in there that I can guide, and say,
so cool.
This is a résumé. See how I want to highlight in there, right? So using this button that was always there, but we never even knew, we can actually do it. Yep, I see that too.
Turn on the close. I always turn that off when it types when I start a meeting because I find it's distracting.
Closed captions?
Yeah. Well, yeah. When I record a meeting, I always hit record and then I turn off transcription.
I never turn off transcription.
Really?
I minimize it, but I never turn off transcriptions. That stuff is handy. It is your notes.
But how do you not see that so that it doesn't get captured in the chat box and you miss about, people chatting in the chat box? I always turn it off. That's why.
Yeah, I actually never do shut it off.
Okay.
I just minimize it.
Okay.
You can just click on it and it just disappears, right? But don't shut it off, because if you shut it off, those are your notes for your meetings, right? You want to learn something about ChatGPT? Here's another free tip on another topic. You take meeting notes or a video and you cut and paste inside ChatGPT and say, tell me what this meeting was about and give me like a 1-page synopsis, and it'll spit you back a couple of bullets of roughly right, this is what happened during that meeting. Just saying. ChatGPT is your new best friend. Okay, let's go to the next slide since I'm still in this section. All right, control who sees, right? Spotlight for everyone. So Tammy, turn on your camera. So if I want Tammy's camera, because she's my main speaker, I'm moderating this meeting, right? I want Tammy to be the spotlight right now. So I can either just pin for me, or I can spotlight for everyone. So if I spotlight for everyone, look how big she gets, right? She's right next to the content and she's speaking to you guys. So do you see that Tammy is bigger on the screen? If you do, give me a thumbs up. Excellent, right? So now she's right there for everyone. So when you've got someone that's presenting something, instead of being this teeny tiny little box in the corner and then 6 other people join the meeting, so everybody's boxes are tiny. You want to be able to highlight the one person that's speaking. And all you have to do is hover on top of their camera, right? And hit spotlight for everyone. 3 little dots on top of that person's camera, and you can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to stop highlighting. I can also mute her, just saying. But if you hit those 3 little dots on top of a camera and I say spotlight for everyone, right?
I just did it for you so I could say, cool.
Oh, there we go. Ta-da.
Awesome.
Okay, so some of the things to actually show. Now, I'm going to get out of this presentation live that I'm in. So sorry if you're following along in another language here, but I want to show you something that you can do. And I'm getting close to my time. So let me go ahead and move this over here. Okay, so here I am. So you can actually show your content in a better way. So let me show you, if you were presenting to someone or you're doing a proposal for a customer, right? I want to go ahead and I want to present in a different way. I can show hang on, I'm trying to do it. It's not doing it for me. Should have done it in the beginning, I think. More. There it is. So why is it not showing up? All right, let me do this again. Oh, there it is. So there's a bar at the very top of your screen when you're sharing. So when I actually, so you can see my cursor there. When I move up, a little thing drops down and it shows it to me. This is the bar that drops down, right? And it says all of these things. Stop presenting is one, and that's pretty much the only button people ever use, right? I'm going to go ahead and click on pin. So I went ahead and pinned it so it doesn't pop out again. If I click on some of these buttons, it actually can change the way that I'm presenting. So this is the regular presentation. If I do the next button over, this is how I'm presenting, right?
That's cool.
So my stuff shows up here. If I want to go next to it like a reporter, I can go like this, right? So all my stuff is over there. And then I can go like a real reporter and actually, you know, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And I've got a background that I can set. I clicked on a different background for some bizarre reasons. I don't know how I did that, but anyway, that's how you can also view. So those are the 3 different types of views that you can actually present. I use this one a lot. That way I don't take a lot of space, right? And the focus is on the content here. And my background automatically disappears, which I usually like to have. The other button that is over here is include computer sound. Biggest mistake people make when they're showing videos. Everyone gets frustrated, right? And Tammy, by the way, I have a solution for the problem that happened with Joanne. I've discovered how to fix the problem. We can have that conversation after this call if you want. But
Perfect.
About the sound picking up with the other one, there's a way to actually take that off because I was in a call and I had to address that same issue. So on this one here, if I click on enable computer sound, which is this button right here, right? That actually allows the video sound to show, right? And so include computer sound and boom, Bob's your uncle. I can show a video and everybody can hear it. Now be aware that if you are the person presenting, okay, and this is important, especially Tammy, if you're doing, you know, one of those new videos that we've got right now, those new We Make Work videos that you're showing at a team meeting. And so you put yourself on mute so that, you know, you can just watch the video. The person who's sharing the video, if they put themselves on mute, the video goes on mute because it's enabled computer sound. Also be be careful that any emails that are pinging or any notifications that are coming in, they can also be heard by the whole team.
Right.
So anyway, that's the computer sound aspect. Anything that can be heard on your computer will be heard there. Get a sense check of your audience. So this is the poll that we were talking about in this last minute that I've got. You click on apps in a meeting. You have to be in the meeting. So that means if you know that you want to do a poll in a meeting, sometimes do you ever notice that people show up on meetings like 10 minutes before, right? So you want to be able to go in the meeting, click on plus with the app, and then click on polls, right? And then click new poll, and it'll say, what kind of poll do you want to do? And you can go ahead and select, right? And then next thing you know, you can start a poll with anyone. Oh, I went over to the next one. Does that make sense?
Cool.
It's really that easy. It's just that it does disappear in other things because it doesn't want to like overwhelm you with stuff that you might not use every day. But mine shows up in my apps. So if I look at my apps, I can see my polls. I'm going to start a poll right now. New poll. So I tend to do these ahead of time. So I've gone ahead and launched it. And you can go ahead and rate the session, right? You can do a multiple choice question. You can just do a quiz to try to get the right answer so that we don't all get peppered with 50,000 people answering in a chat and you're trying to figure out who put the answer in first, right? You just have to have that be able to do. And then you can click view results at any time. Can you guys see the poll? Did it pop up for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And you can preload that, MJ, and then just launch it while you're in the meeting?
Yep. Yep. So then you can go ahead at any time and view the responses, right? So view results. Oops, I didn't see it. Now let's say you did this for I can't even view the results myself. Funny, unless it's in the chat. Is it in the chat?
Didn't see it.
Oh,
No.
There we go. There. All right, excellent. So the next session, the next thing that I've got, which is I think the last one of the last ones, you can send recordings, right, to people, open, download, and you can download the recording of a session. The one thing that I'm going to tell you is only the person who actually held the call, that the organizer of the call can download. Everybody else can view it and it'll automatically pop up in the chat for the meeting, but only the person who did actually organize the meeting can download. So that's an important thing to know. Okay. And that's it. The last slide that I gave you is all of the tips and tricks, real easy peasy, put all on one sheet, all by the section.
Awesome. I got to jump to lead another call, MJ, but this was awesome. I learned more than probably 10 things on this call. So thank you. I didn't think I would learn that much because I use Teams all the time, but really, really good. I'm going to send out the recording with the slides too for those that weren't able to participate. So
okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
We'll look for your advanced teams on the next call.
Viva Insights is the one that you'd want to actually get in there.
I'm writing you down for that one. Viva Insights. Don't even know what that is.
Well, it's your new assistant.
Okay,
I can give you your own assistant.
Oh, okay. I need one of those.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much. Very excellent presentation.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.